All right. So just to kind of give you a heads up of where we're at in the unit, I think we talked about this last time, but this is your last notes that will go on this test. Next class, we're going to review, and then you guys will take your second test for the quarter right before Thanksgiving break. Okay? All right, so as you can see, these notes are pretty short. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. All right, are we ready? Okay, so do y'all know that sometimes you have like Greek letters that really stand for special numbers? Can you think of one example of this that you did in geometry a lot? Pi is the one I was looking for. So pi is a special number. It's 3.1415, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and it's like a special relationship that comes from the radius of a circle and its circumference. Okay, so there's another special number that we're going to talk about today, and it's E. Okay, and if you type E into the calculator, okay, you'll notice that it's over here on the divide by sign. So to access E, if you hit second divide, it'll give you the letter E, and it is approximately 2.718. Okay, so write that down. So we already know that pi is about 3.14. So now we have a second number 718. Okay, and basically E is like, it's the base of continually growing processes. Okay, so we're not going to heavily get into this because this isn't science, but because E is kind of like a special number, it has a special log. Okay, so if you'll put right here, log base E or log little e can also be written as ln, where ln stands for natural log. Now, the reason the letters come backwards is because it's really Latin. Okay, but ln and natural log are the same thing, and they refer to a log little e. Now, the good news about your notes and why they're so short is that any law or property that applies for logs also applies to natural logs. So right here, take a look. If you have an ln of an x and a y multiplied, you can separate them into an ln x plus an ln y. And do you remember, this is already a property we've used, but instead of writing log, you're just writing ln because it's a special type of log. Okay? For the second one, my ln has an x divide by e. How can I separate? Not plus, but minus. So it'd be ln x minus ln y. Okay, but remember, these aren't new rules. They're still the log rules. You're just applying them specifically to ln's. Then the last rule that you should know is that if you have a number up top, you can drop it down to the front. Okay, and that rule also applies for ln's because it is a type of log. Okay, so we're basically going to do everything you've done the last 3 days, but we're going to specifically now do them with ln's. So the first thing we did was expand. Remember, expand is where you're going to go from one log to nobody sharing a log. So if I'm doing number 1, my 9x and my y are all together. They want to all be separated. So this is a 9 times an x4 times a y4. So how can I separate multiplication? Do I use plus or minus? Plus. Very good. So it'd be ln 9 plus ln x4 plus ln y4. That is not considered fully expanded till you drop the exponents down to the front. So that's this 4 and this 4 would just go to the front. So your answer would be ln 9 plus 4 ln x plus 4 ln y. Okay, but it's literally what you already know how to do. You're just now doing it with ln's. Okay, for number 2, Let's break down what operations are happening in our parentheses. This is a 10 multiplied with an A. What about the B though? It's divided. So when I do my square root B to the 5, I need to make sure that my subtraction applies to that term since it's a divide by right. So it'd be ln 10 plus ln A minus ln square root B5. And then does anybody remember what the square root turns into? A half. And then if the 5 is already there, I just cut the 5 in half. So cross out your square root, make it a 5 halves. And then remember that number can just magically float down to the front. That's a property for logs. So your final answer would be ln 10 plus ln A minus 5 halves ln B. Okay? And that process is called expanding, where you're going from one ln to all separate ln's. Okay, now we're going to go the other way. You're going to start with the logs already broken down. You're going to squeeze them all back together in one. So take a look at number 3. What numbers can I move up? Any numbers that are in the front, right?
Yes.
So the 7, the 3, and the 2. And then once I pop those front numbers up, they're all going to go into the same ln, and anything that's minus will get divided, anything that's plus will get multiplied. So it'll be ln, big fraction. My x7 and my y3 will get to stay on top, but my z squared will have to go to the bottom. Does that make sense? Hopefully. All right, one more like that. Move those front numbers up. So my B will have a 1/2 on it, C will have a 2 on it, D will have a 7. ln big fraction. Which letters will go on the top?
A and B.
A and B. And what will B be in if it has a 1/2 power? Square root. Okay, but then C and D, since they're both minus, will go on the bottom. So it'll be a C squared and a D7. So far, doing okay? All right, turn over to the back side when you're ready. So you should know how to expand and condense. Okay, the last thing you have to know is how to solve. So remember that if I had like a log little 10, do you remember we'd use a big 10 to cross it out? We just did this last class, or like if it was a log little 7, you'd use a big 7?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have an ln, I want you to remember that that's really a log little e of x minus 1. Okay, because remember, ln is a natural log, which means it's a log base e. So really, now that you know e is a number, you're really just solving this regular. So what number, based on last class, would you get rid of first? The 4, and it's a times 4. How do I undo a times 4? Okay, divide. What's 12 divided by 4? 3. So now I have log little e of x minus 1 equals 3. And then last class, I would ask you, how do I get rid of a log little e? I use a big E. And big E on log little e is going to do what? Cancel out. Now, for the next questions we do that, I'm not going to rewrite ln, but e and ln cross each other out. They're partners, because ln is a log little e. So I have x minus 1 equals. And then if I want to know what e cubed is, I'm just going to put that in the calculator. So in your calculator, you're going to hit second divide by to access your e. And then you're going to put it up to the 3rd power. Once I get that decimal, yes, the 20.085, what am I going to do to solve for x? Because it has a minus 1, so I'll plus 1. Very good. So I got 20.08 plus 1 gives me x equals. Now, I was a little bit lazy. Oh, wait, hold on. It says exact value. So if it says exact value on your home, I think on the homework it's rounded. So let's just do hundredths place and then we'll check. But what would 08 round to if it's followed by a 5?
9.
09. Very good. So it'd be 21.09. Okay. All right, let's do number 7. What number has to go first? 6. How do I get rid of a plus 6? Okay, minus 6. What is 3 minus 6? Very good. So I have ln of 2x is a negative 3. Then I think to myself, ln is a log little e. How do I cancel out an ln or a log little e? I use a big E. And then in the calculator, you'll find out what e to the negative 3 is. So it'll be 2x equals, second divide by up to the negative 3 gives me 0.04 followed by a 9. So that'd be 0.5. And then last step, how do I get rid of the 2? Divide. Now, I think we talked about this last time, but in case I forgot. Okay, you cannot abbreviate this number for your homework till the very end. So I'm going to take this big long decimal, divide that by 2, and then I'm going to round. So this would round to 0.02 followed by a 4. And that would stay an 0.2. The reason that I say that is that if you retype 0.05 and divide by 2, it's going to round to 0.03. So use the long decimal all the way till the very end and then round at the end. Okay? One more left like that. Take a look at number 8. How do I get rid of the 1/2 in the front? Let's get rid of it as a 1/2 is a, we could move it up, but let's times 2. But actually what you suggested, that actually would work, but it'd just be harder. So a 1/2 is divided by 2. We're going to multiply by 2. So now I have ln x minus 5 equals 3 times 2 is now a 6. Then my ln is really a log little e. How do I undo a little e? And big E to the 6 is just a number in the calculator. E up to the 6th power is 403.428. And then I'm going to have to plus my 5 across. But remember, you're going to use the long decimal and add 5 to that. Then at the very end, you're going to round. So my answer would be 408.43. Okay? But just remember, don't round till the very end. All right, take a look at number 9. Do you notice that your ln is already partnered with an e? What happens when ln and e get together? They cancel out. So this equation is really just a 6 equal to 2x. And then how would I solve? Divide by 2. What would my answer be? 3. So remember, ln and e are partners. They cross each other out. Okay, last one like that, number 10. I have multiple ln's and they're added. I can't get rid of them till I combine them. So if I have an ln x plus an ln of 2x, what do I need to do with those ln's to get them together? Multiply or divide? Multiply. What is x times a 2x? 2x squared. That's right. Very good. Okay, and then it would be equal to 3. So if my logs are added, I condense by multiplying to put them in the same log. And now how can I get rid of the ln? Big E on both sides. Very good. So my e and my ln are going to cross out. I have a 2x squared equals e to the 3. We did, it was 20.08 followed by a 5. But remember, I'm going to use the long decimal until the very end. So what is my next step going to be before I square root divide by 2? Very good. And then remember, you want to keep that long version, divide by 2. That gives me x squared equals 10.04. And then take the what? Now square root. Very good. So I got 3.16 followed by a 9. So how will the 3.16 round if it's followed by a 9? 317. Okay. All right, 2 more questions left. We're almost done. Okay, number 11. This time I'm starting off with an E. How do I undo a big E? Log little e, which has a special term. It's a natural log, so you're going to ln both sides. So I'm going to do ln and ln. And then ln and e cross each other out. So I'll just keep the x minus 5 equals the ln of 14. Then you're going to put that in your calculator. There are 2 ways that you can type this in. The first one is that you can remember that an ln is a log little e, right? So alpha window, go down to log base, put a little e in your small box and a 14 in your big box. Okay, that is ln of 14. Okay, however, do you also notice you have an ln button?
No.
It's down here by the 4, right below the log. So if you're doing an ln, you can kind of bypass doing the log base button, just hit the ln of 14. And do you see that it gives you the exact same answer? So usually for ln's, I would just use that shortcut button since it's there. So it's 2.63 followed by a 9. That's going to go to 2.64. And then to get rid of the minus 5, we're going to do what? Yep. Okay, and then remember, you want to use that long decimal all the way till the very end. So highlight that number, push enter, plus 5, and it's 7.63 followed by a 9. Correct. So it'd go to 7.6. Okay. All right, 2 more left. Number 12. What number has to go first, the 4 or the 8?
4. Right?
Don't get rid of the 4 first. Get rid of the plus or minus number first. So let's plus the 8. So 4 plus 8, what's that number on the other side now? 12? Okay, now I can't get to the E yet because there's a 4 in front. That's the next number to go. So how do I get rid of a times 4 in the front? Divide by 4. 12 divided by 4 gives me a 3. And then to get rid of a big E, I need a log little e, which is an ln. Very good. And the ln and the e are going to cross out. So you would have x equal to the ln of 3, and then go ahead and just use that shortcut button.
1.09.
And if it's 1.09 followed by an 8, that'll go to 1.10. Okay. All right, last one. Remember, the plus or minus number has to go first. So if I have a minus 1, how do I undo it? Okay, plus 1, plus 1. My 10 plus 1 is now in 11. So a 1/3 is a divide by 3. If I want to undo a divide by 3, I multiply by 3. What is that going to turn my 11 into? 33. And then if I want to get rid of a base E, ln both sides. And remember, you have that little shortcut for that on your calculator.
3.496.
Okay? So that'd be 3.49 followed by a 6 would round to 3.50. Okay? All right, you should be able to do your homework. I'm going to unlock it and I'll bring you scratch paper. Good job.
Wait, one question.
Okay.
It's just about the keeping it.
Okay.
So, when do we know to keep it the rest of it, like from the start? So like.
So just as you're doing it in the calculator, keep using the long decimal till the end.
To the end.
I'm rounding it to put it on the paper, but in
I
the
can-
calculator, you're going to retain the whole number all the way till you're rounding your answer.
I was just making sure I was right.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, yeah, when you rounded out, I didn't know.
Yeah, it is kind of weird